I'd like to introduce you now to one of the great masters of video games. This is a gentleman from Los Angeles by the name of Lee Trink. Lee is a very experienced and incredible executive who runs one of the world's, in fact, the world's top video gaming team. We're going to beam him in directly from LA. And there he is. Lee, welcome. You're on. That's Lee Trink. Lee, say hi to everybody here in Bulgaria.
How is everybody? Good to be here virtually.
Well, it's great
to be with you, Ralph.
It's great to have you here at Webbit 2023, and Plamen Rusev, the creator of this, that's been going for 14 years, nearly 15 years. Great to have you, Lee. Lee, where are you coming to us from?
I'm in the Hollywood Hills of Los Angeles right now at my home.
So you're in Hollywood, and you run FaZe Clan, which is one of the world's top teams. How big is FaZe Clan globally, and how globally recognized is this esports team and video game team FaZe Clan? Tell us about it.
So we have a roster of about 100 talent. About half of that are esports athletes. The other half are content creators. We have an aggregate social media following of all of our talent and our network of over 500 million.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on, Lee.
Yep.
500 million.
Yeah.
That's your fan base.
It's a pretty large network of fans. We've won. I'm actually starting to lose track. I think 42 championships in the variety of esports that we participate in. We've got 13 different teams, and we have a lot of our esports teams are actually in Europe. We have them around the world. And I think we're really the most globally recognized brand within gaming teams.
That is incredible. And when you speak about esports athletes, people that play video games at a professional level are in fact athletes because they have to be fit, their hand-eye coordination has got to be really great, and this is what you put together, but they've got to be creative. And on that, does artificial intelligence help the creative side of video games and speed up what you sometimes call the grunt work of game creation? Tell us about that.
Yes, so I think we're at the very beginning of it. I think there are creators that are starting to dabble in it. We're starting to dabble in it. I think it's early days as far as what the adoption is and how far we can take the usage. But there is a fair amount of it's grunt work. Some of it is creative, some of it is just grunt work. But things like the creation of the thumbnail itself, which really has a very meaningful impact on driving viewership. That's something that creators are using AI for. Scripting of some of their ideas is another way that AI is being used for, can be used for. Animation is something that historically has been expensive and is getting cheaper through AI and easier to use. You can use AI for editing, certainly for data analytics. And so what it does is really it doesn't replace the essence of what the creator is, and I think that the creator needs to really lead the vision of what the content is. But I think AI provides tools to enable a single creator to really scale the volume and the output that creator is generating.
So Lee, how many players do you have in your FaZe Clan teams collectively, and do they play international competitions, tournaments? Just give us a sense of, yes, they work on the development of games because you've got engineers within the team that develop the games with the players, but how does it work? You get them to play in international competitions?
Yeah, so we don't get involved in the game making, but the competitions are most of them are international. Most of if you take things like Counter-Strike is an international league. There are some domestic leagues or North American leagues like Call of Duty, but the majority of teams are really international. We participate in tournaments in person internationally, and about, let's say, about 55 or 60 of our 100 FaZe Clan members participate in one of those esports teams, right? And the other portion are content creators. So they are, think YouTubers or streamers, like Twitch streamers or YouTube streamers.
And Twitch is still a very big channel for watching live competitive esports gaming.
Very, very big channel owned by Amazon. Under some competition, there's some recent players like Kick, which they're starting to attract, streamers. So there's a fair bit of competition between certainly YouTube and Twitch as the dominant streamers, and then upstarts like Kick. And my sense is, I don't think we're experiencing that yet, but a big part of streaming is interaction with the chat, right? There's the streamer is sort of entertaining their audience, usually playing a game in a backdrop or just chatting with them, and they're interacting with a live chat of their viewers. And I think AI is actually going to be able to facilitate interaction with that chat. And I don't think that anybody's using it at this point, but I see the ability of being able to communicate more easily with a much wider group of people, and even potentially consume sentiment around what people in the chat are saying. And again, while you're entertaining, you can't digest. There's only so much you can digest, especially when you have tens of thousands of viewers in one shot, sometimes 100,000 viewers plus. And so I think AI could actually help that interaction and that communication with the chat.
Wow, estrachotno y moderno, which means, wow, that's cool, Lee. That's very cool. Okay, so here's something for you. It is now said that the video game business globally is bigger than the global movie business, the global TV business, the global podcast business. It's a massive entertainment with hundreds of millions of gamers. Give us a... Sorry, Lee, what did you say?
I said combined.
Combined.
Bigger than music, film, and TV combined. Right.
So give us some numbers of just how big video gaming is on a global basis, and give us some sense, because people here in Bulgaria, there are obviously some great Bulgarian game players, video gamers, but just give us a sense of the global picture of video games as an entertainment business.
Well, it's a several $100 billion business,
What?
and it look, that includes the game sales, which really make up the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
But that's really the central hub of the entire ecosystem, right? Selling games or commercializing games has been something that's been around for decades.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is businesses like FaZe Clan and brands like FaZe Clan have built ourselves around the ring of all of those video games, right? So we've taken something that is commercialized through one vehicle, which is directly through the game, and we've come up with other ways to generate revenue, generate brands that actually interact with those games. And so we take those games and we create content around it. Really, it ends up, we end up being a driver of purchase and gameplay, because we're a big megaphone talking to a huge audience that are showing them how we play the games and what we do with the games, and we comment on it. And so it really is this very rich, vibrant ecosystem of really billions of gamers at this point, and that number is really only growing. At some point, everybody becomes a gamer.
So they say that there are 3.5 billion game players in the world out of a population of about 8 billion. And just on a global level, I mean, here we are in Bulgaria, very important, an incredible technology that's developed here in Bulgaria. But give us a sense of which countries you find are the leaders in it. And obviously, Sweden is well known for having created Clash of Clans, with Supercell, the great game company from Helsinki. But just give us some sense of just how big this is. I mean, you come originally from the music business. You used to manage a group called Kid Rock, and then you decided to leave music and go into video games a few years ago. And here you are running one of the greatest teams in the world.
Yeah, look, it's big and it continues to grow. I think places like Korea really led the way. I think Korea was South Korea was one of the outliers and the initial outliers. I think Europe and North America was right behind it. It's become I think if you talk about kind of the under 30 or the under 25 crowd, everyone is a gamer.
Everyone is a gamer.
Everyone is a gamer. And so I think as you look at it, it's only going to continue to grow. You have more and more young people spending a huge amount of their time not only either playing games or watching content around games. And we've been doing it for a long while. We're a 13-year-old brand, but it feels like it's still the beginning.
So here's a question for you just before we close this interview, all the way to Hollywood from Bulgaria. Lee, if we could introduce some incredible gamers to you from Bulgaria, would you at FaZe Clan be interested getting your specialist team to take a look at them, and if they are good enough, maybe get them to join as a Bulgarian member of your international FaZe Clan posse? What do you say to that?
Of course. We have, we certainly have, Eastern European players and even Eastern European teams, and we're always looking for great new talent, and would always take a look and bring it into my recruitment team and give them a shot.
Well, innovation is a thing. We are fortunate to have the Minister of Innovation in the Bulgarian government right here watching you, Lee, in Hollywood, and she's nodding her head saying, yeah, baby, let's do it. This is really something. And basically she's saying, Estrachno, Kotno, I moderno. It is cool. Hey, Lee, thanks so much for joining us all the way from LA. It's great seeing you. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Lee Trink, one of the great leaders of the video game industry worldwide. Lee, soccer to him, man.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity and hope to be there in person sometime.